It began with a financial crisis. It ends with a job crisis. It began with a housing crisis they alone didn't cause. It ends with a housing crisis they didn't correct. It began with a perfect AAA credit rating for the United States. It ends with a downgraded America. It all started off with stirring speeches, Greek columns, the thrill of something new. Now, all that's left is a presidency adrift, surviving on slogans that already seem tired, grasping at a moment that has already passed, like a ship trying to sail on yesterday's wind. College graduates should not have to live out their 20s in their childhood bedrooms, staring up at fading Obama posters and wondering when they can move out and get going with life. I am honored by the support of this convention for Vice President of the United States. I accept the duty to help lead our nation out of a jobs crisis and back to prosperity. And I know we can do this. I accept the calling of my generation to give our children the America that was given to us, with opportunity for the young and security for the old. And I know that we are ready. Our nominee is sure ready. His whole life prepared him for this moment, to meet serious challenges in a serious way, without excuses and idle words. After 4 years of getting the runaround, America needs a turnaround, and the man for the job is Governor Mitt Romney.
Okay, so there were plenty of applause lines, lots of enthusiasm from the party faithful, but did Paul Ryan do enough to mobilize middle America? Independent voters will consider this. After the speech, CNN senior political analyst David Gergen called Ryan, quote, the new Reagan. Joining me now, CNN political analyst Roland Martin. He leans left, and with him, our Republican guy, Will Cain. He's a contributor to CNN as well and an analyst for The Blaze. Welcome to you both.
He's on the left today.
I know you're on the wrong side. Well, let's start with you, because David Gergen calls Paul Ryan the new Reagan. Really?
You know what? I don't agree with David Gergen. Here's the deal. I really like Paul Ryan. I think Paul Ryan is great in policy proposals. I think Paul Ryan is great in forwarding ideas full of integrity that aren't necessarily politically popular. Paul Ryan, to me, is the definition of a leader. But when you say he's the next Ronald Reagan, you're talking about somebody who is dripping in charisma and delivers an awesome speech. And I'm going to tell you something. As much as I like Paul Ryan, I just can't quite go that far. It wasn't exactly the most compelling speech I've ever heard. Good, let's put it, good, not great.
Carol, let me go ahead and say it. Stop it. I hate these comparisons. Remember when Grant Hill was the next Michael Jordan?
No.
He wasn't, all right? That's what people said early on. Let Congressman Paul Ryan be Congressman Paul Ryan. There's no need to try to say, oh, he's the next Ronald Reagan, who was the next President Bill Clinton, because when you begin to make those comparisons, you're going to have people say, well, wait a minute, wasn't Reagan early on pro-choice, but then he changed his position? Ryan's not that way. Forget that nonsense. Let Congressman Ryan be Congressman Ryan. Stop with all of these old school comparisons.
Oh, but they're so much fun. Perhaps the most emotional.
No,
I know, I'm just kidding. Come on, get a sense of humor.
Can't get out of the past.
Okay, so the most emotional moment of the night may have been when Paul Ryan praised his mother. Let's take a listen to that.
And to this day, my mom is my role model.
Okay, so he appeared to wipe away tears. Was hit. The audience stood up. Whoa.
Let me take, before you throw cold water on this.
I'm not.
Okay, good. Let me say this, Carol. You know, my dad was a lawyer. I went to law school because my dad was a lawyer, but my dad died when I was young as well, and I watched my mom do exactly what Paul Ryan talked about his mom doing. Start over, reinvent a life. I think there's a lot of people who saw that moment who can identify with it. And then to see his mom, you know, so sweetly and meekly kind of deflect the attention and stand up. Look, it was genuine, and it was without a doubt, I think you described it, Carol, the most emotional moment of the night, hands down.
Carol, I play golf. That's called a gimme. I don't care who you are. You can give a speech anywhere in America. It could be Kiwanis Club. It could be at your old high school. It could be at the GOP or Democratic Convention. If you praise mama and daddy, it will always shut the house down. So you never lose with that. Just like I'll tell every candidate or anybody, if you have a wife or a husband, give them a shout out first, or you're going to catch a lot of hell later. So
I know,
mama always will get you applause.
Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of candidates do that, and you're right. It evokes emotions in people. But just once, I'd like to hear a candidate say, I had a terrible relationship with my parents. But they won't
guess what? And then they'll say, but I still want my mom to stand up, and they're all going to cheer.
Will Cain, Roland Martin, thanks so much.